This is 1,000 milliliters. You can if you want, or you can just, whatever you want to do. Pour out 30, so there's 25, which is the long line. So that would be 30. Let's see, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, 30 would be that line right there.
Okay. So get
Pour. Yeah, you can. Pour straight in. What? Is that 100? I'm sorry. Yeah, pour it into here. Should be the same amount. You can just pour that in. You can just pour that in. Make sure it's 30. This morning you're going to be using your math skills a lot. Even if you're not good at math, it's okay. We have what percentage? If this is 1,000, we poured 30. What is that? What does that represent?
0.03, which would be what percent?
3%. 3%. This is all the water on Earth. This is the fresh water on Earth. So 3% is the what we have for all fresh water for drinking and for fish, right? For lakes, everything like that. Okay. So this leaves out a lot of salt water, right? From the 30%, here's what I want you to do next. You can get over here in the middle. You probably need to use a drop of one of these things. This looks like a little communion cup. You can. Here's what you need to do. You need to get 6 millimeters.
okay.
Yeah. Of the 30%.
Almost there.
So very roughly, if this was 3% of the total water on Earth, and she just took out 1/5 of that. So I don't know, what would the math be? 1/5 of 3% is pretty small. Okay. This now represents all the frozen water on Earth. So it's fresh. It's fresh water, but we can't tap into it as a water source. It's not really available to us. Now, the interesting thing is they're saying even within a couple decades, all the glaciers, at least in the continental U.S., like Glacier National Park, will probably what? Do we follow this in the news at all? What's happening right now to a lot of the glaciers on Earth? They're melting because of what? Global climate change. Yeah, now whether that is from natural warming or man-made, we don't know exactly the percentage of each. We're pretty sure it's some of both, right? But perhaps more so humans, right? So that's going to become potentially a fresh water source, right? Although that's going to make a lot of people are a little concerned about coastlines as a result. So we have 20, this is now 24 because we took 6 out. So we have salt water, fresh water, but it's frozen. Now we have, this is fresh water that's available to us. But of this, now you need to take out, this is going to be a little tricky. You need to take out 1.5%. So do your best. Do your best to take out 1.5. I would do one, one, very little, yeah. Just a hair more, yeah. So now, all right, so we have frozen water, fresh water, it's great, but this is all, majority of the fresh water left is all underground. And actually we're going to take a peek here in just a minute about some actual underground water and where where it exits the earth on our little walk here. This is streams, lakes. This is surface water that we can actually see or tap into. Out of that, though, here's what you can get. We don't have one more thing. We just get one drop of that water. It's literally one drop. A lot of this water, lakes, streams, rivers, on Earth, this represents on the entire planet. Is it potable? That's the term for drinkable. No, because there's a lot of, do you know what the number one cause of death on the planet Earth is? It's dehydration, not as a result of having no water, but drinking contaminated water. In third world countries, people drink contaminated water. They have chronic diarrhea, and they can't get hydrated. And it's because of contaminated water. That's the number one cause of death on Earth, unnatural death, right? Which is pretty amazing. So that's going to be in a lot of third world countries, right? Not so much in the U.S. And so the last bit of water that we can drink that is contaminated on Earth is representing 1 drop of what started off with 1,000 milliliters. So that's pretty amazing. Now, where do we find 1 drop? And what kind of places? Springs, uncontaminated springs. We're going to visit one here in a second. What else? Think, if you're in a plane looking down on the surface of the earth, what kind of places, especially in the U.S.? This is a kind of a leading question. Where are you right now? You're in a
National park.
You're in a national park. National parks are reservoirs for fresh water, for clean air, right? They're kind of like the seed factory for those things. A long time ago, there's a Chinese philosopher that says, if you want to save the rivers, you want to save the ocean, save the mountains. Because that's where all the waters flow out of, right? In the mountains, which is where you are right now. So, kind of to put things in perspective, that's fresh water for you right there.